So hi, my name is Mark Dern. I'm the Managing Director for Chiltern Hygiene Services Limited, and I have to be honest, this is a bit of a first for me. Although we've been running for 14 years and it's my business, I've not really done any of these videos, so hopefully it goes well. Do let me know. Please be honest, but not too brutal. Anyway, this is really just the story of my why. So I've got a few things written down, but I'm going to be honest, I'm going to try and do it from off the top of my head and just see how it rolls. Really weird just talking to myself on an iPhone, but hey, you've all got the same experience, I guess. So as I say, we set up 14 years ago, but prior to that, I started my career in banking and worked for NatWest, don't all boo at once, and spent 7 years working in the city. And I have to be honest, for the first 5 years, absolutely loved it, and then got to a stage where really just didn't want to be in the city and just didn't want to be working in banking, and really, I guess, had an itch for doing something myself. And I thought that I probably wouldn't have enough money, and that's still the case, to open my own bank. So what could I do? And a friend of mine was in car sales, so I moved and spent 5 years selling Rover back in the day. I've had a couple of years stint at Land Rover as well. Really prestigious and fantastic product. And again, really thought that actually this is great, but a job for a single man. And this was at a time in my life where I was getting married, and children were coming along, and just not such a great idea, and didn't really fit with my plan. And being quite frank about it, I've really wanted to do the least amount of hours and work for the most amount of money. Don't we all? And obviously enjoy what we do at the same time. That's massively important. So a friend of mine was in washroom services, which is what my business does. So a good number of years ago, I decided I'd go along for an interview just for some experience. Had an interview, absolutely loved the guy who owned the company, and thought I could work for him. So I jumped ship and went to work for a small independent, and had a good career. Spent a year with them in sales, did reasonably well. I have to be honest, didn't work massively hard. I was fairly lucky at times. Sorry, Jeff. But I did my best, and I was called into the office one day and thought, here we go, I'm probably going to be given my cards. But instead, I was offered the position of operations manager. So I did that for a year with my arms tied behind my back, with the constraints of management that were looking to actually sell the business without me knowing. And just before they did that, I actually jumped ship and thought, do you know what, I can probably do this better myself. So I set up my business, and I'll be honest, part of the reason for doing so was that I didn't want to be in a position again where somebody could decide whether I ate or not. And that may be a little bit extreme, but that was how I felt. I really didn't want somebody else calling shots and deciding whether I'd had a job or not. So I thought, well, live and die by the sword. If I can work for myself and everything works out, fantastic. But if it doesn't and I fail, it'll only be because I failed. So we set up 14 years ago, and really the ethos at the time, and still is, and it is my absolute why, is not to be the biggest. I do not at all want to be the biggest, but I want to be the best in an industry, and washroom services certainly is an industry that's been dominated for years and years and years by three big players, PHS, Canon, and Ishall, that you'll probably all have heard of, that are massive, but unfortunately at times, the majority of the time, their service lets them down, probably because they're just too big. So really, that was the whole ethos, is that we just wanted to offer the most innovative and the best service, no matter whether somebody had just one bin for 100 quid a year or they were spending £10,000 with us. Every customer is equal in our eyes, and we will give every single one of them the ultimate service, the best service they can get. We've invested heavily over the years in how we do things. We've got a new barcoding system. We have a janitorial division, a matting division, a water cooler division. So we've moved on, and business is good. We're very, very busy. We've got a team of 15, which continues to grow. We're not the biggest, we're far from it, but I believe that we're certainly the best. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into who I am and what we do. And yeah, I've quite enjoyed this experience, so look forward to doing another one. Okay, cheers now, bye.